understanding that this particular building is the oldest standing Baptist church building in the country. In other words, this building has existed longer than any other church building in the entire United States. So you're the oldest. Isn't that neat?
They've had to refurbish it some years, but where I'm standing right here is the first official full-time pastorate of David Jones.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
And of course, we were in the Great Valley Baptist Church, and he pastored that for a number of years. But he pastored here, I believe, for about 8 years. The house over here was the original parsonage, and it originally was about a third of what it is now. And it's pretty small now. They gave land here for the pastor to live on, also land for him to farm, to sustain himself and his family. This church here, the meeting here, they had itinerant preachers at first for several years. And then David Jones was the first official full-time pastor. And of course, he was educated under Isaac Eaton in Hopewell. If you'll notice in the churchyard, when you get a chance to look around the cemetery, you'll notice a lot of homes are buried here. So the influence of Middletown, as he mentioned, birthed this church. Of course, the original Middletown church is now the Homedale church. You know about that? Piscataway came out of there. The Middletown church. It's there. This church is here. And you'll also notice in the churchyard long streets who are related to the homes. They're buried here as well. You'll notice many Revolutionary War veterans. I know Brother Faggett has pointed out to us that some of the secular historians have, and the Protestant historians have said the Baptists didn't have much to do with the Revolutionary War. But if you go to every ancient Baptist cemetery in the area, you're going to see Revolutionary War veteran after Revolutionary War veteran.
Yeah.
How's that go, Brother Grady? Facts are stubborn things. Facts are stubborn things. And so there's a great history that's here. And I mentioned over when we were in Middletown, this area was settled because of the farming, the agriculture, the great opportunity. Also because of religious freedom. And also because there was a relatively friendly relationship with the Indians that were here.
Well, let me read this to you. You've been hearing one name all day long, and of course that's Holmes. But I want you to also think about Isaac Eaton. Please remember that name as well.
Amen.
And remember that education, outside of preaching, education is the most powerful weapon we have to fight for good and right. We're going to see by the end of the day how powerful just a couple of teachers are. And what a couple of teachers can do, and what a couple of preachers who train their preachers can do. Amen?
Amen.
So let me just read this very, very quickly. This, of course, again, is from Griffith's book on the history of the Baptists here in New Jersey. And this is a description of the birth of this church. And it takes place, as we mentioned a minute ago, in May of 1766. The church was constituted with 47 members dismissed from Middletown. Now, we talked about how some churches would branch. They take a part of their ministry and go start another church with a group of their people. The separates would go and sit as a church. They didn't actually take a piece of the church and move it somewhere else. What they did is different members would go out and sit as a church. But this church was constituted with 47 members from the Middletown church. Now, we've already looked at Middletown. Remember, that's the first place we went. And then we went down to Holmesdale. And again, Middletown and Holmesdale, they're in the process of doing what we're all supposed to do. Birth churches.
Amen.
And they're down here and they're putting their birth in this church. It goes on to say here in the narrative about it, but the first 7 years, this church was known as the Crossways Baptist Church, but then it took the name of Upper Freehold Baptist Church. Among the constituents, that means the first founding members, among the constituents of the Upper Freehold was the name of Holmes. It doesn't tell us how many, but it was a bunch. Was the name of Holmes. 6 were named Cox. That's an extra. By the way, there's a few from the Cox family, but basically the church was the Holmes family. And this again shows us how Obadiah Holmes and his ancestors came through this area. And of course, Brother Hawkins has already told us several times about how this was such a wonderful place for liberty. It became so attractive to people.
Amen.
And whenever you have liberty of conscience, it is attractive to people. And it causes thread across the whole my soul. It causes the greatness of what our country is supposed to be.
This is the grave of Elizabeth Robbins, the daughter of Moses Robbins, died August the 13th, 1790. And there's an inscription down here in small letters. This is their 18-year-old daughter. Her flesh must slumber in the ground till the last trumpet's joyful sound. Then burst the chains in sweet surprise, being fully purged by Jesus' blood, rise triumphant in her blood.